Thank you for watching Toronto TV. We have a very interesting conversation with an expert on Chinese learning, particularly from a foreigner's angle. Thank you very much, Peter. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised and very impressed by your magic that we can learn Chinese, both Cantonese and Mandarin, faster than a lot of people can think about. How fast can we learn such languages?
Well, if you have the right tool, then you can learn it very fast. When I say very fast, I mean if you have just a few weeks of, if you just participate in a few weeks course, or if you go to a learning institute and you participate in courses, just in lectures maybe of 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 times a week, I would say after 2 or 3 months you can be fairly independent as long as you have the right tool. And when I say tool, I mean a software tool that helps you to understand the text, that gives you the phonetic reading of the text. So when you ask how fast can you learn it, I would say get the right tool and you'll be able to understand text within a few weeks.
Can we say that you have to, first of all, you need a teacher first? For example, if I'm very busy, I want to master Mandarin, say in summer, I can go to a course, a very intensive course, which may take about 4 or 5 weeks. Can I learn the thing so fast with a teacher as well as the teaching it?
Well, with a teacher and a class, you would probably learn to communicate using the spoken language. So you would learn to speak basic sentences to communicate, but the tool we have, well, the tool we have also helps for speaking because we have a text-to-speech system, but what this software tool really does is it enables the learner to understand written Chinese text at a very early stage. And as you know, the Chinese characters are usually the biggest problem for learners. And then of course also the pronunciation. For example, speakers of Cantonese in Hong Kong, they use our software mainly to get the Mandarin pronunciation through the text-to-speech function, which is built in.
So talking about individual Chinese characters, how many Chinese characters do we need to master before we can be independent?
In order to be independent learners with this software, it is enough if you have a basis of perhaps 200 to 300 characters.
That means how many days as a starting point?
Well, you can acquire these again with the help of this tool in 1 or 2 weeks. And then you can use our online reading tool, or you can take, for example, a Chinese web text, a Chinese text from the internet, and you can paste it into our learning software, and it will tell you the pinyin with tone marks. If you want the bopomofo, the zhuyin fuhao with tone marks.
That's what I learned my
Yes.
Mandarin.
So we support both standards. Or for someone who wants to learn Cantonese, you can get even the Cantonese pronunciation, the Cantonese transcription, or you get the English meaning, of course. And if you turn on the text-to-speech component, you hear it read aloud in spoken Mandarin.
Talking about learning Cantonese, and learning Mandarin, do you find there are difficulties? For example, if I say I learn Pinyin, I can go ahead with any Pinyin and then we can learn it fast. What about Cantonese? Is there any standard sort of a method now to make you pronounce Cantonese as good as Pinyin?
With Cantonese, we support two different transcriptions which are all very close to the sound. One is the Hong Kong-based Yuepin transcription of the Hong Kong Linguistic Society.
That is by the invented and made perfect by the Hong Kong government.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's the standard adopted by the Hong Kong government, and then we also support for our users at universities worldwide the older standard, which is the Yale transcription.
Older standard, Yale transcription.
It's an older standard which is used at universities.
So with your teaching aid, you can also learn from Mandarin to Cantonese.
Yes, because we take the Chinese characters as the basis. And we have a linguistic infrastructure built into our system from the Chinese characters. We can generate the pinyin with tone marks, or we can generate the Cantonese pronunciation with tones, or we can generate 注音符号 with or without tone marks, whatever the user wants, or whatever the teacher wants.
Peter, can you demonstrate the magic of this your system?
Yeah.
So that we can have a very basic understanding, and then we can
Of
know
course.
more. Yeah.
Yes. Again, it is not really magic. It is all applied linguistics. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a linguistic infrastructure here built in, as I said, and I will try to demo this to you. I'll open our application. And here it is. We make it full screen. Now, I actually opened it twice so I can shut down. Okay. Now, at the very beginning, I just want to show you the basic word processing functions. Here, if somebody wants just to generate, to write Chinese text, the standard way everybody normally does it, all our users do it, they write, for example, 今天天气很好, and then when the user types a full stop, this converts into Chinese characters.
That means your software already built in, so that people can type the pinyin, and the Chinese characters will come out.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So we have a conversion system from pinyin or from 注音符号 to generate Chinese characters. Now, this is only, this was the beginning of our system 20 years ago. We have added over the years all these functions that make it, as you say, magic, which is not really magic, but I'll show you a few of these. Let's assume somebody has a text like this, and now you want to, the student has a text like this. He gets, the user, he or she will get the pinyin transcription.
Yeah. 今天 after the Chinese characters.
Yes.
And then the English below it, today.
The English below it, today. At the same time, you can hear the reading. Now we go to Tianqi. Now at Tianqi, you see two entries in the dictionary. One is 繁体字 and one is 简体字.
We call it the original characters and then the simplified characters.
That's right, yeah. So the original characters we write first, and then if there is a simplified equivalent, We always show also the simplified equivalent. But everything is based on the original Chinese characters. Now, let me show some other functions. We can also turn the tooltip dictionary off so it doesn't interfere when we do the other functions. And here, for example, if we highlight this and from the format menu we pick Hanzi with pinyin, then we can take any text, highlight it, and pick the second item, Hanzi with pinyin, and it automatically adds the pinyin on top. I can also make it a bit bigger if you want. Shall I just increase the size so we see it better on the camera? Here we go to font, and see, it's very user-friendly. It has a standard interface. We pick size 28 maybe. So here you can see this. Now what we can further do, we can add more information to this sentence. We go to this panel and now we can pick, for example, Hanzi with bopomorpho and tones. Let's see what this looks like. Here we have Hanzi with 注音符号。
注音符号现在不常用了，是不是？在台湾也用这个。
在台湾还是常用的。可是注音符号拼音现在是世界上用的最多。拼音，可是在台湾和在很多教科书还用注音符号。
为什么他们不用这个拼音呢？拼音比这个注音符号容易学的多。
拼音的优点就是在很多西方国家，学中文的人，他们觉得学另外一个系统，另外一个 alphabet，太麻烦。可是对台湾、对中国人来说，我想注音符号有意思，跟日本的hiragana 一样，是对中文是一个很合适的transcription.
Can you summarize the major advantages of the both systems? If I'm going to learn, I'm just a starter, and I don't know both. Can I just master pinyin and without bothering anything about bopomorpho?
Well, I would say that any learner in a Western country who is used to the Western alphabet naturally would use pinyin because it is based on the Roman alphabet.
I see.
Now, many people they just like the looks better because they go together much better stylistically. I mean, 注音符号. 注音符号 is based on Chinese characters.
Yeah, but we have talked about efficiency. If the efficiency of using pinyin is as good as bopomorpho and equally linguistically as efficient and almost perfect as that, we can. You do not advise people to learn the bopomorpho from the scratch.
Yes, I would say for a Western learner whose daily communication is based on the Roman alphabet, pinyin is the choice. And they can learn Chinese transcription using pinyin. But it is always good, as far as I'm concerned, it's always good to support everybody.
What about Peter? When you go to China or you go to Hong Kong to learn the language, do they still teach 注音符号? Or they just go straight to pinyin now?
Well, it's interesting. If you look into the dictionaries in mainland China, they always have pinyin and 注音符号
together.
together.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because Zhuyin Fu Hao was a system, is a system that was not just invented by, by somebody recently, but it has been around since 1920, since the 20s. The Ministry of Education created this, and it is deeply rooted everywhere, and it makes sense.
Okay. Going back to
Yes.
your demonstration, I found it, although the digression, but still
Yes.
very interesting and enlightening.
Yes.
So that as a learner, yes.
Yes.
Can you go on
Okay.
your
Yeah.
system?
We'll continue here. What I want to show you is how our software is building the bridge between between 简体字 and 繁体字. Here we have this sentence only has one 繁体字, so I'll just change the text so we can see more. And what we do is we open here a web example. This is a web page which I saved earlier today.
Mm-hmm. Entirely in original characters.
Yes, entirely in original characters. And we will now...
You can change it into
Yes. Well,
simpler characters.
the first thing, okay, let me demonstrate briefly the two tools we have. The first tool I want to show, because we are at the web page now, we go to Start, or we also have the icon here. If I minimize all this, here, Kitip Putonghua. This is very popular in Hong Kong for learning the Putonghua pronunciation. We launched this, and it is now on. So we go back to our website, and now simply pointing, because it's now working in the background, you can point. 从相关研究文献中 So I don't have to do the whole thing, but you get the idea. What this tool does is it gives the viewer of a Chinese website immediately
almost a teacher.
Yeah, almost a teacher. See, it has the Fantizi original characters, then Shuangqin, both were simplified, so we have those, and Shuangqin means both parents.
Yes.
And here is pinyin with tones.
Yeah.
So this is the online reading tool. Now, this online reading tool is like a talking dictionary. And I'll just exit so it doesn't always read while I'm doing other things. What I'll do now is I'll show you if the learner wants to have more information than what you saw now. The learner simply puts this on the Windows clipboard, I copy it, and then I open key our application, and I paste it here. Now, I quasi have this text in front of me, or whoever has that tool has it in front of himself on the operating table. You can analyze the text using this tool completely. So what we will do now is we highlight it, we select all, and we go to format, and we becomes it with pinyin. And now we want our system to put pinyin there, and here it is.
I see.
So you have taken a text out of there from outside, imported it, and the main step that enables our system to put on correct pinyin is that it was segmented. So it has already the right word segmentation. Now,
just speak a little bit here. Is it very important to make the sort of segmentation useful for any learner so that he knows how to pause, he knows how to break down the sentence into individual components?
That's right, yes. Because if you do not have the segmentation, for the learner, it is very difficult to, if the learner is confronted with a text like this is directly the raw text from the internet.
So you analyze the semantic
That's
components.
Right, yeah. Like with a text like this, the learner is basically helpless. Yeah, there are so many characters. There are more than the 200 or 300 that he may know after a short while. So what I just showed you was only one way to start. There's another way to start. On the view menu, you ask this system to show the what we call dictionary tooltip, and at the same time to read it. And now they can do exactly what they did. What they did on the website previously, they can also do. Now, for example, if you want to teach somebody who is from mainland China, the original characters, this is the ideal tool, because what you can do is, and this is what really sometimes looks like magic, you select this, and again you go to this panel, and because somebody from mainland China looks at this and says, oh, 这是繁体字，我只学过简体字，我不懂。So what you do is 2 lines of Hanzi, and then here it automatically adds 1 line of 简体字. So it gives the user, it gives the learner from mainland China access to this, to the meaning in Fanti.
So Peter, I think we pause a bit here.
Yes.
To me, like say, I learn everything from the original characters,
yes.
the Fanti.
Yes.
现在我很想学这个简体字，我就可以这样，我可以看到什么字。简体字跟这个繁体字没有分别，什么字要把这个简体字这要学下来的，学了就要看这个东西，就可以。
对，yeah.
So the way to transcribe from the original characters to the similar characters, or you can also do it vice versa. So you can learn the other way around. So, so it's very useful. Can you do it, say, character by character? For example, if I do have a word which 互动，我想知道这个动字怎么，这个简体字怎么写，我怎么。
Okay, well, let's open a new screen and do your example. You say 互动，
无上的。
Okay. Well, what we do is 无 and 动. Now, if this is in our dictionary, then it will already convert.
舞动。这个舞字有没有简体字？
Yes. Now, if you
动有没有简体字？
if you want to know 舞动有没有简体字 then the simplest way is point at it and it'll tell you.
Oh, yes.
See? Then you see the 繁体 and 简体字。
这个动字有了，舞字没有，是不是？
Wu is the same. Wu is the same. Now we even have a mode for learners where, I should have, well, the duplicates, only those characters, or only those characters that are different are shown in 1 line. Yeah?
Can you also demonstrate how rich is the number of characters you have already accumulated in your sort of vocabulary and how
yes.
many?
Yeah. Well, let's again take the example of the website. It is still open. So we can paste this. Actually, we might still have it on the clipboard, but we copy it again. So just we have a text to play with. What you can do is, for example, under annotations, you have the create a word list function, where, for example, you can take any text and you automatically create a word list.
I see.
Here, this is the text you had and lesson 1. Now, you could take another text and create lesson 2 with a different color, and it would append the different color words, the new words here. But I want to show you another feature here, which is used well by both students and teachers. You can take this list. Here you see the list of words was automatically generated. You can now automatically convert this into a glossary. Convert to glossary is from the background, from our large dictionary, it automatically adds the opinion and the English meaning.
So it saves you a lot of time to go
That's right.
to go to dictionaries, word by word,
That's right,
character
yeah.
by character, and they
Right.
give you a very user-friendly approach.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So what a teacher can do generating lessons is just take the text and click once for generating the word list, and then click another time, it will automatically generate the glossary.
So in a way, Peter, it means that this teaching tool is not only for people who learn, but also very good for teachers.
Yes.
It's very user-friendly for teachers
yes.
who want to say set questions
Yes.
about testing the
Yes.
students' ability to translate
That's
from
right.
English to
Yes.
Chinese or Chinese to English. And
Yes.
also, can they also look for something like synonyms or opposites?
Synonyms and antonyms,
Yeah.
we don't have a synonym-antonym dictionary built in yet, but we have that on the
Eventually
drawing
you
board.
can
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Right now it is a large Chinese-English dictionary, which of course can be searched.
Yeah. Can you learn any grammar from this? Any grammar, like the English people who after a few years they want to be perfect in grammar?
Yes.
Do we have Chinese grammar and in the English way?
Yes. What you can do as a teacher is, and let me just open a new file so I can demo this other function you just asked about. Yeah, we can perhaps, the text is still here. We will temporarily turn this off so it doesn't always disturb us. Now, you can, for example, 从, obviously, if a teacher wants to explain to a student 从中, the teacher can make an annotation and then give the file to the student. The teacher can make many annotations in many respects. Now you asked about the grammar. You can make a grammatical annotation, and you can even, this is one of our latest features, built in an annotation on the split structure, 从中. The way to do it would be like this. You highlight the 从 annotation and create annotation, and we can give it any color or even leave it white. You can do different annotations, like you can have one type of grammatical annotations, then you can have annotations on the meaning of words. Here we are aiming for a grammatical annotation. What you can now do is, here, go to this annotation menu again. You see I have highlighted the second part of this, what we call split structure. 从中 is a split structure. We now click on add second part. of split structure, and we have them now here, and we can say, we just write anything the teacher wants to say. These two go together. Now we have made an annotation, and under annotation we can choose to hide the annotation. Now the teacher, for example, gives this file to the student. Now the student goes through, wants to see the dictionary. We can turn the dictionaries back on, so we get more information. Here, dictionary tooltip, and read. And then we should turn on here, enable annotation tooltip. That means when we point at the annotation, then whatever the teacher wrote will become visible. At the same time, if it is a split structure, they blink. So the student can prepare, or the teacher can prepare for the student annotations to learn grammar. Here, the grammar for the student is now explained by the teacher in an annotation which comes up first. And it is 1 out of 2, that means you can go and still get the dictionary.
Okay.
The dictionary is still there in the background, and the others are there. No annotation. Here, when we point at this, again, the system is blinking and telling us there is a split structure. That's the signal, and the teacher's annotation comes out.
So it's very sophisticated in a way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in all, I think we need to find out all the useful features of this system. And as long as a teacher is available in the beginning,
Yes.
you can say after 2 or 3 weeks, you can be independent and go into this useful teaching aid. And after a while, you can also have the teacher as a teaching aid.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything you haven't mentioned that is essential and very useful about this system as a concluding sort of for our conversation today?
Well, I would like to mention as an educator, I think, well, as an educator and a Canadian, where we find many people from China, from Taiwan, and from, well, there are simply so many people with a Chinese linguistic background here who want not, who try, well, or who are very active, not to lose the Chinese heritage, which I myself have been teaching to Westerners all the time. I mean, that the second generation or third generation of Chinese here who want to maintain Chinese as a language, not only as their culture, but also want to maintain the language. This may be a good tool to help their children.
A tool without tears.
Yeah, a tool without tears. Because all the work, I mean, what we say the dirty work, the hard work is all done by the computer and our software.
So the computer has done a very user-friendly job.
Yes, a very
so that we don't need to go always learning the language the hard way, like I learned it when I spent 10 years learning and still I find it insufficient to master the language. And now we can learn it in 1 year.
That's right. Well, and for the teachers it is also much easier. In Montreal, the 3 big universities are using this in their language labs, and the Université de Québec Laval, they have this installed. They installed it 3 or 4 years ago when suddenly they, with their 3 Mandarin teachers, they suddenly had 250 students learning Chinese.
And I also learned from you that there are so many schools now in Hong Kong adopting this system as a teaching aid and learning aid.
Right. Just over the last year, because it facilitates the learning of Mandarin, just during the last year, about 20 schools and universities in Hong Kong, perhaps in the meantime even more, have adopted this as their standard. They usually purchase a 100-station site license for their language lab, and then the students can just sit at the computer and they learn it themselves, and only the intelligent questions are left for the teachers.
How can we acquire the software?
Well, if you go to our website, you see a more detailed explanation. The easiest is if you just write us an email. We have toll-free numbers to call, but the www.cjkware.com is our website, and just contact us. Contact us by email is always the best. If we could just tell everybody our email address, I can write it here. Our email address, where you always get an answer, would be Rising Sun, because we named it, Rising Sun, and I have to find the @ sign here, because this is a Japanese keyboard. I'm presently, by the way, living and teaching in Japan, so I have a Japanese
So Rising Sun at.
Rising Sun at.
Just forget the at and then go
well,
ahead.
I will have it right here. Rising Sun at. Here we got it. Japanese keyboard. I have to have all these keyboards in my head at msn.com.
So Rising Sun at msn.com. Then you can go to this magical equipment or
that's
teaching
right.
aid.
If you email us at this address, and it's an interesting story how we named it Rising Sun and Sunrise. Back in 1994, I was in Taipei, and I have a good friend and distributor at that time in Taipei, David Wang, and I asked him what would be a good name for this, and then he said, why don't you just name it 旭日东升? The morning sun is rising.
So Chinese language is the rising sun.
That's right.
Chinese language is maybe one day as spoken by more people than any other languages.
That's right. Well, it is the ideal Esperanto, because no matter how you pronounce it, the characters are understandable anywhere. Like when I am traveling through Japan, based on my Chinese, I can read virtually everything, because they are Chinese characters. It's only the pronunciation that is different, and this is also why in Japan, where now Chinese is a very popular language, very few people know that this year in Japan, for the first time, there are more people learning Chinese than English.
Sure.
Yeah, it was in the Japan Times. I read these statistics sometime in March and April. Everywhere you go, Chinese language schools they're just everywhere, suddenly in Japan, over the last 1 or 2 years.
So Peter, I think as you have mentioned, we find it very useful to learn Chinese and very important to learn Chinese. I myself is a Chinese from Hong Kong, but I still find it, my Mandarin is not as good as my Cantonese. So I have discovered the best learning aid today. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and we hope that in future we can introduce more about this magic teaching aid through our web TV. Thank you for watching.